Hi guys, my name is Nona Wolf. I'm a Lanza healing artist here in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm so excited to talk to you about the clay decolorizer. We went ahead and prepped her right side with our new clay decolorizer, and if you can see, she has this really seamless, beautiful balayage. And this technique took about 25-30 minutes, and we did all through here and then through this back area. What I did leave for you is her left section. So this is what she was before. So kind of flat. Her color was grown out from, I don't know how long, a year, 2 years?
Yeah, about 2 years.
2 years ago. So I didn't want to make anything too high maintenance for her. I wanted her to have like subtle brightness and low lights and lots of dimension. And I wanted something that was going to really nurture her hair and keep it super healthy. So like I said, 30-minute application. We did a technique of balayage and we did some baby lights and foil. And that's kind of like the biggest thing that I think is amazing about the new decolorizer is that this consistency, I did 1-to-1. So you can free paint this or you can put it in highlights. And so I do lots of combos of highlights and free painting. And so the fact that I can use this one product and utilize it for her whole head, it's easier for the stylist. So let me talk about the technique and we'll get started. So I did up through here, what we basically did was teasy lights, and I took thicker sections, did the teasy light, and then I rotated that with a couple baby light sections. So you can see some of them come up higher and then some of them are focused more towards the ends. And then as I got towards the top part, let me move your head right here, I did 3 baby lights going up into here. Now the reason you don't see the demarcation line is because I did a smudge root with our Lanza Healing hair color. So, but the amazing thing is you can see all these different peaks that I could get with a foil, and she got really great lift. Now I didn't want her to be platinum blonde, so I went ahead and toned her down. And I actually wrote the formula down because I know I was not gonna remember exactly. Her base is gonna be, so right about here, I glazed her with 14 grams 5NN, 11 grams 6A, and that was all through here. Her mid-length is 9 grams 7A, and if you're not familiar with Lanza, that's 7 Ash. And then I also added 11 grams of 7N, which is 7 Neutral. Now her ends, the very tips where you see like that super light, creamy tone, I toned that with 8 grams 9B, which is beige, 9 grams 9A, which is ash, and 7 grams 8NA, which is actually our new series. And it gets amazing gray coverage, but what I really like for it is toning because it has the perfect coolness, but it also doesn't take her too ashy. So that is what her formula is all toned with. But perfect. So I don't know if I showed you the back, but I'll kind of show you. The back is just teasy lights as well. Now I did not bring up any baby lights up through here because naturally as the sun hits our hair, we kind of go a little bit darker towards the back. So I didn't want to put teasy lights through here. Now you could, but I found that this knocked out the most coverage and was the most realistic on like what our hair looks like, right? So let's go ahead and show you how to do this. How's my light right there? Let me come over here.
Perfect right here.
Right here? Okay. Perfect. So we're gonna scoot that on back. And like I said, 30-minute application. I processed her for 30 minutes. And I thought that was pretty easy. So this section is so small. I think that our application time would have been about 40 minutes. How many of us have 40 minutes that we could do a full balayage in? I do, right? Because I feel like so many balayages, they consume our whole schedule and it takes like 3 business days to do a balayage. And I can tell you, I don't have time for this. So this is such an easy way to start the process and add highs and lows, okay? Now, if you guys have any questions while I'm doing this, please feel free to comment and we will try to answer them in the comments. So if you notice, I took a diagonal forward section, and the reason why I took that is because I want all of the hair to lighten around her face. As you can see, as this hair sits here, all of that lightness is coming down towards her face, and that's what a natural sun kiss looks like. So then what I do is I kind of make this a subsection, and I'm gonna do 2 big deep partings. Now looking at this, you're gonna think like Kelly Clarkson circa 2001, but I promise, as we saw on her right side, it's gonna look super blended and seamless. I'm actually gonna put some gloves on. Now her decolorizer, her clay decolorizer ratio is actually gonna be 1:1 40 volume. And if you notice on her right side, I haven't even trimmed her yet and her hair looks amazingly healthy. How many products can you use 40 volume and actually get the lift and integrity of the hair? The way we keep the integrity of the hair is because of our keratin healing system technology that is Lanza exclusive. So this is my Lanza board. I'm gonna go ahead and lay it here. And I'm gonna make sure that my product's not too saturated. And I'm gonna do sweeping motions and saturate her really nice. Now, if you notice that we have such a creamy consistency, it's not gonna be like balled up or cakey. It's just the perfect consistency. Now, when you're applying this, do you see this little like nub of color? What I like to do is just rub that out, and what that's gonna do is she's gonna have an even lift. Anytime you have too much saturation, you're not going to get even lift. Like that will come and like lift a lot more. And then wipe my hands and lift down that next section. So we're gonna go diagonal forward again. And the difference on this one is we're gonna do kind of like a baby light without being in a foil. It's actually gonna be a little bit thicker of a baby light, but we're doing a skip weave, and the reason why is it's gonna give that dimension with these peeking through, these low lights all peeking through, and that's what's gonna be the point of interest. And I always like to grab this piece right in the front because it's gonna add to her money piece, but create softness as well. So we're gonna do one tease up, and by doing one tease up, you can brush through it just like that. I see so many of you ratting it up like it's prom, but it's not. You just do one tease and go straight up there. And you're gonna get amazing diffusion. Now, if you notice, we have color on our board, so that's gonna help us hold the hairs so they don't move. So we're gonna anchor that in, and then I'm kind of doing crisscross, but then when I get up here, I'm gonna use the side of my brush and we're gonna sweep. And as you guys know, balayage means to sweep the hair. Here we go. And then now I'm taking the two of my fingers and I'm blurring that up. And I'm making sure all the saturation is even. And then we're gonna lay that right there. Now wipe our hands again. And so these are two different patterns, but they're gonna help add the intensity and like the difference, as opposed to just doing back comb, highlight, back comb, highlight. This small difference will create diversity into the hair. So we'll pull this one down one more time, and like I said, we're going diagonal forward. As we get towards the top of the head, we're gonna change it a little bit, and we're gonna start going on the horizontal. Now, what do we do now? We're gonna do our big skip weave. All right, we're gonna tease this up. And the reason I'm putting so much tease in there is because she likes low maintenance hair. And if you saw her hair on the other side, you'll see that it's super beachy and diffused. She's not high maintenance at all. But the nice thing is I want you guys to see the vision and paint a vision for yourself. If you want someone to be a lot brighter, this does get 7 levels of lift. So you're gonna get the lift that you want out of it. And then when you need certain pieces to pop, you can go ahead and put it in a foil. And what we'll do is after this video, I'm gonna put in the comments what her foil actually lifted to, because I toned it down a lot, but I want you guys to see the potential that you have here. You can get super, super blonde highlights with this clay decolorizer. All right, so now as I'm working up towards the top of her head where her part line is, I'm gonna start shifting it to a different section. So I'm gonna start trying to level this out. And then as we get towards her section, because we're going to respect where her section is, and we're going to give her that money piece, that soft baby light that she wants. So I think we're on to our Skip modified baby light. And as we get towards this, I want to start painting towards that. So this section I'm actually not going to tease, because as I get higher, I want it to be brighter. So let's anchor this. And then I want to give her that really pretty soft money light. So I'm gonna just really softly paint into her hairline. And then we'll load our brush a little bit more. We're gonna use the side of our brush and then paint up. And I'm gonna make sure I hit the side, so that way when she has it up, you'll see the highlight that we just put in. And then we're gonna lay that right down. And so, like I said, as we work up towards the head, we're gonna keep going lighter. And that's when it's gonna blend our baby lights that we're gonna put in highlights. And if you can see how fast we're working, we're covering a ton of area, and this is what's gonna make money for you. If you can put a full balayage in 30 minutes, that's gonna be a game changer. Here we go. And another product that we have, or another ingredient that's in here other than our keratin healing system, is we actually have vitamin A, and I almost forgot. We have vitamin A, and it also has amino acids. That's what it is. So that's how we're keeping our hair nice and moisturized and strengthened and just super, super healthy as we work. And it'll allow you to use your 40 volume that you want. And so I did another baby light going up into here. Now, if you see that little guy, just take your pointer finger and your thumb and blur that out. And also this is kind of getting coverage underneath, so that way everything is getting lifted. And you can take this and just kind of push that up. Perfect. All right, so I'm getting towards that top section. So what I want to go ahead and do now is add some baby lights. So I would say as you get to this last 1.5 inches, that's when I would start baby lighting into it. Now, if you have someone that wants to be a lot brighter, maybe that means you come from the eyebrows up and you start your baby lights. The reason why I changed the sectioning on this is because what I did was, when I glazed her, I did her base, those first 2 inches, I did that at the 5NN, but then I parted her mohawk out where the baby lights were, and I glazed this whole section, this mid-length, I glazed with that deeper formula, that formula number 2. And then her very tips of her ends, that's where I glazed the light formula. And the reason I did that is because this top part, this mohawk, I glazed lighter. I'll still do the base here, but then I use the lighter section, or the lighter color, to glaze through here because it's light, and then when she flips her hair over, she'll have the depth to support it. So that's how we're building depth into the hair. So that way, if her goal was to be really blonde, the nice thing is that she has 4 different colors in here, so when you go to add in the second session, she's gonna be super blonde with lighter tones to support it. Because the worst thing I see when I see balayage is just dark to light. And there's some blur and blending, but there's not the multi-tone. This is what's gonna set your balayage apart. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in and do my baby light. Very thin, make sure you grab that hair around her face. And we're gonna baby light that. And like I said, this can go into a foil. And we're just blocking it in. And then as we get to the top, I just like to pick out the pieces that I want to highlight. I don't need to go all the way because I want to create maximum softness. And if you can see, this is as creamy just to put in a highlight as it is to put on the hair. But what's gonna happen is the pieces that are in the hair, they're gonna kind of make a little shell, and it's gonna keep the moisture inside the hair so that way it can keep processing. And then we're gonna do another baby light. And then we'll just check it, make sure it's still pretty thin. Perfect. And by taking nice fine sections, what that's gonna allow is your lightener to process as fast as it can and go to the potential that it needs to go. If you're taking too big of sections, your level, you may not get up to 7 levels of lift. So be aware, take the time, take nice fine sections when you're applying your lightener. And like I said, we're doing peaks and valleys going up here. We want to create softness and dimension. And then we're going to do one more. There we go, lock that in. And so this last one, we're going to go right into her part line. So this is where her part line is. Let's clean it up a little bit, actually. We're going to go right into it. And we may just grab this a little bit thicker right around her fringe because that's going to be the money piece area. And then last foil. So you can see that's going to be that little bit thicker piece, but it's still thin enough so it's going to lighten up really beautifully. So lock this in. There we go. And then I like to kind of like feather this up. It creates softness. Every time you put your brush on someone's hair, think about every detail and creating that intentional softness. And what it's going to do is going to create it easier at the end when you're blurring everything out with your toners. Fold this under so there's no bleeding. Flip and flip. Perfect. All right, so let's say we've been working about 10 minutes or so. I want to show you her ends. Look at what that's already lifting to. And it's been 5-10 minutes and she is lifting very, very nice. And you can see it kind of drying out, or not drying out, but creating that covering to keep it warm, or to keep it moist inside. So this, that looks a little bit wetter, this is gonna start to make a mold, and then it's gonna keep it moisturized so it can lighten. Let's go back to the side that's finished. I want you guys to see that. And you can just lay her hair right there outside of her face. So now that you saw the technique, now you can kind of see how this works. Now, for her hair, a lot of girls like to flip their hair. So if she wants it really blonde, she's gonna probably wear it down her part line since that's where her baby lights are. But let's say she wants it to be a little bit deeper. She can throw this over, and you see how like you're not seeing the baby lights necessarily up through here anymore, and it's mainly down here. That's the point of difference that we have here. And then even as she sections it just a little bit less, you'll start to see these come up. It's super, super pretty. It's a very pretty fall bronze look. And I want you guys to be artists, and if you want this to be a lot lighter, then add in more baby lights, add in more of these, let it process longer. For 30 minutes, I was fine with it lifting to a soft 9 and glazing her down because that's all I wanted her to lift to. But I want you guys to know that the sky's the limit with this color, and you're really gonna get an amazing lift. Now, we're gonna post photos in the comments so that way you guys can see like the whole process and steps by step, because I know it kind of gets confusing. But if you have any questions, please feel free to comment, and please go to ManocoBlue. They're amazing and they're so fast at shipping. So yeah, thank you to ManocoBlue and thank you to Lanza. I'll see you guys later.